And we're going to show it to you right now. The glass out here poses, first of all, the immediate threat. It was a cell phone that caught everything on camera. When the victims all ran out of that barbershop, some of them did not seek medical treatment, and they're asking the driver of this Charger to please turn yourself in. This was already a heartbreaking case, as it was a missing persons case. And we should note, during these emergency procedures, the school will call 911. As far as the Corvette goes, you can see right there, firefighters here have been busy. Multiple units out here fighting this blaze. The advice from firefighters is to stay inside. He may be living in Syria, but obviously this man has traveled the world. Why'd you fire the shot?
Sorry, man. No questions at the time.
Do you find it strange that the only way your patients are hearing from you is through this broadcast?
What do you want me to say?
One thing that we heard time and again from family members to neighbors on the street is that this could have been anyone's child, and that fact did not escape the neighborhood kids themselves.
When I came outside, I saw her on the ground, and I really didn't know what to do.
It was a shoe running to buy ice cream from the visiting truck on Robeson Street. It now sits as evidence of a hit and run that sent 8-year-old Kamari Smith to the hospital with critical injuries.
I couldn't do anything but cry because she was my best friend, and it was just real sad.
Police are looking for a silver Dodge Charger, one that neighbors say they've seen around the block.
I heard a loud thump, and as I came out the door, I just seen that Charger speeding away, and the little girl was laying in the street.
And she just flew over across the street to that car over there, and she was just laying there.
And it's just really, really sad to see somebody hit a little girl and just keep going like that.
She's not breathing on her own, and she's in critical, and that she's been through a CAT scan already, and we're just waiting on the results to come back.
We are a praying family, and I'm just believing in the power of prayer to bring her about.
As Kamari's loved ones keep vigil, their message for the driver is simple. Put yourself in the shoes of those praying for the little girl who wore the ones on the street.
We don't believe you meant to do it, but it happened. Do the right thing. Turn yourself in.
Will certainly be a long night for Kamari and her family. Meanwhile, the police again looking for a silver Dodge Charger with possible windshield damage. They understand this is a fairly common make and model, but again, residents on the street saying they've seen this Charger back and forth in the neighborhood before, and they're working with police to at least help get to the bottom of this. We're live in Detroit. Andy Choi, 7 Action News. What you see behind me is a makeshift memorial just outside the murder scene. Candles, flowers, stuffed animals, family and friends of Tina and Chrissy Geiger coming together in hopes of shedding new light on the investigation. Fighting an evening full of clouds, the flicker of tiny candles helped light the darkness of tragedy outside the front steps where Tina and Chrissy Geiger lived and died.
My sister was loved around here by all the neighbors, and I'm just glad for that.
We love you, and we miss you.
The vigil started with more than 100 bowing their heads just outside the murder scene. Not only were family members on hand, neighbors like Jerry Eli paid their respects as well.
A very good person, outspoken person. Her and her daughter was very close together, you know. Because when you see one, you see both of them together.
She's been my friend for years.
Darlene Spry put her grief on paper, a poem too painful to read on her own. The words asks loved ones to hold on.
There'll be days when you're happy and days when you're blue. Just hold on to that moment. It's almost through.
We all want to thank you, everybody, everyone that's here, my co-workers, my family, my friends.
And as Tina and Chrissy's loved ones hold on to each other, their prayers also hold on to hope on a night when tears fall as heavy as the rain.
That's all I ask is for prayers, that they find out who did this. That's all.
More on the investigation. Police have confirmed they have a person of interest in custody for questioning. An autopsy has been completed. We're told the results of that autopsy not available for weeks. And of course, if you have any information, you are asked to call Clinton Township Police immediately. We are live in Clinton Township tonight. Andy Choi, 7 Action News. Carolyn? They actually throw parties for new residents who move into this block. No one is celebrating the arrival of the guests who are staying here tonight.
You can't ask for a better neighborhood, especially this block here.
It's the kind of block where neighbors Mike and Robert take time for each other. They take care of their lawns. They take pride in living here. So to see squatters just take over a foreclosed home up for sale, residents say it's just not right.
You know, realtors were bringing people by to look at the house, and they could not have access to the house.
We're here in the neighborhood trying to pay our rent, you know, struggling. Then to have someone just walk in and move in and say, this is my home. It's not fair.
And the squatters apparently couldn't live without premium television.
And then they got the nerve to have cable. They had Comcast last week come in.
Are you the owner? What's that? We didn't get very far reaching out to the squatters, but after hearing from numerous residents, Detroit City Councilman James Tate reached out to the home's current owner, Fannie Mae.
I made a couple of phone calls, and within that day, the eviction process had begun with this particular property.
It's not fair to us, not fair to other people in the neighborhood, and certainly it's not fair to the family who just moved out because maybe they were struggling trying to keep the home.
And it appears tonight someone is watching television inside the home, presumably on a Comcast subscription. We do know that as far as getting these squatters out, that only the homeowner has the power to file a police report or start an eviction process in court. You heard from Councilman Tate that Fannie Mae has started this process. The police have reached out to these squatters, and apparently the squatters told the officers that they would be out by next Tuesday. We will wait and see whether they honor that request. For now, we are live in Detroit. Andy Choi, 7 Action News. This woman says her husband believed in Dr. Fada. Now she believes that patients and loved ones should speak out and tell Dr. Fada just how much pain his practice caused.
I thought we'd grow old together.
The sight of old photos is tough enough for Linda Joswick. Cancer took her husband Bobby's life more than a year ago.
It started in the lung, and then it went to the brain, lymph nodes, and shoulder. And I'll tell you, the treatment was worse than the cancer itself.
But it was treatment her husband received from Dr. Fareed Fada, now under federal investigation for misdiagnosing patients and ordering costly procedures his patients may not have needed. Linda believes Dr. Fada's chemotherapy procedures robbed her husband of his limited quality of life.
The inside of his mouth was nothing but mush. His nostrils were so paper thin. He would have nosebleeds. It was horrific.
News of the investigation now reopens wounds Linda was trying desperately to heal.
It brought everything back. All the suffering that he went through. And I tried to put it out of my mind. And it's something I live with every day.
Dr. Fada's day in federal court continues tomorrow with a bond hearing. Linda hopes to be her husband's voice and asks the physician one question.
How dare you mess with people's lives and play God?
Clearly, the pain of these allegations runs deep. It's why Linda and so many patients are planning to be here at the courthouse tomorrow to see for themselves Dr. Fada's day in court. Reporting live in downtown Detroit, Andy Choi, 7 Action News.
So sad, Andy. Thank you so much.
You're watching 7 Action News.
A police officer shot and killed a man after the driver dragged the officer during a traffic stop. A local man says he is lucky to be alive after escaping from a burning car on a highway during a wildfire. New this morning, Detroit police have confirmed they're investigating the shooting of a 12-year-old that happened last night on the 18,000 block of Prevost.
Breaking news from the 7 Action Newsroom.
And that breaking news is out of Detroit's west side. One person is dead, 9 others injured. Mike, we have seen time and again Chief Dolan's frustration in all of this. You're trying to help low-income residents, yet you raised the price of water. Why is that? I feel like this is when live TV is at its finest. I mean, you get to watch with us that building come down live at 8 o'clock. It's going to be awesome. New this morning, the city of Pontiac is heading back to the drawing board to come up with a new budget. City Council passing a 2-year budget last week. More controversy surrounding Donald Trump this morning as he continues his run for the White House. 9:30, welcome back on this Saturday, July 11th, 7/11. can. Get your Slurpee cups ready to go. It's a hot start. It's an extra hairspray kind of day, extra deodorant, all that good stuff. Good time to be on the water because the temperatures are rising, right, Chris?
Yeah, very quickly.
We have some breaking news from Southwest Detroit. A police source tells us a suspected arsonist has been caught in the act. He is in the business of creating that kind of controversy.
Is that his shtick? Is he
you know, he'll get out there. He'll get to that edge. Dr. Nandy's in the house. He's going to join us and talk to us about how kids can get back on the school sleep pattern. That's a tough hill to climb.
Can you do some yoga, Andy Choi?
I'll give you a little warrior one for you. How's that?
All right.
Thank you for sharing your practice with us. Namaste. All right, next this morning.
There it is. That's
tell you that
animation is something. Boy.
That's a #1 solution to a #1 problem. Do you have to know how to dance to do this stuff?
Absolutely not. And to the back.
This is the way to wake up. 15 seconds of fame, just like that.
Always wonderful to have you in. I know.
There you go.
Is that all right?
Beautiful. Yeah, it's looking good.
Andy, pay attention here. If you really want to get lucky in love, maybe just try dinner instead.
Every time I've asked a woman, where do you want to eat, the answer is the same. Wherever. It's meant to resemble Beyonce's body, so yes, this building woke up like this. If the walls were to come tumbling down, it wouldn't even put up a fight, wouldn't even make a sound.
How are your softball skills?
I'm there for moral support. Thanks. Given the way the Tigers are playing, glad you guys are sitting at the bar, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of animals, the Columbus Zoo has 6 new little residents. Cue the Lion King music. Bad news for Lions fans. I would beg to differ, but we apparently have one of the worst fan bases in the country. And a spotlight on the weather. Lots of sunshine.
Yes, indeed.
Coming up next, this guy living my dream. He just ate Chipotle for lunch for 100 straight days. My question is, every time he ordered guacamole, did they say it's extra?
Yeah, I don't know.
Every time?
Every single time?
Yes, I know
But
it's
can you
extra.
imagine